Good morning to all of you. This is Dr. Pallavi Gupta. I will discuss today remedies for medical negligence under law of torts. Under this topic, I will discuss regarding introduction of this topic, civil suits for appropriate remedy and what are the essentials to prove medical negligence, some case laws which provided remedies for medical negligence under law of torts. Regarding introduction, ethical or professional duty of medical practitioner or doctors. Every person who enters into a learned medical profession undertakes to bring to the exercise of it a reasonable degree of care and skill which they possesses. A doctor is a skilled person, but if he does not undertake that, he will perform a care, nor does he undertake to use the highest possible degree of care or skill which is required, but he undertakes to bring a fair, reasonable, and competent degree of care. What will happen? In a case, in an action for medical negligence against the doctor by a patient, the question is whether the injury which is complained of or which is alleged against the doctor must be referred to the want of a proper degree of skill and care, whether they have exercised in this case or not. For claiming damages against a doctor, the onus is upon the plaintiff to prove that the defendant or doctor was negligent and his negligence caused the injury of which the plaintiff means patient complained. The doctor has to prove that he was not in breach of any duty. And second, the damage which a plaintiff suffered did not result from the breach of duty which is claimed of or which is alleged against him. Proving negligence on the part of doctor require evidence on the part of plaintiff. If there is no evidence to connect negligence with the incident or injury caused to the plaintiff or patient, there will be no case and doctor shall not be liable. Doctor will not be liable. A civil suit for damage has been held to be appropriate remedy under law of tort as a tortious liability, meaning thereby to get the remedy for the tort of medical negligence, a civil suit shall be filed. There are certain essentials to prove on the part of doctor to prove as a medical negligence, that is a duty of care, breach of duty, damage or injury due to breach of duty, meaning thereby doctor is having a statutory, legal or ethical duty, professional duty to take care towards the patient, and it depends upon case to case and patient to patient as well. A second, breach of duty. Doctor was not taken proper care which he has to take, which is supposed to take in a particular case, and he fails to take that care which is required in a particular case, that will be a breach of duty. Sometimes it may be a silly ignorance, but it may result the results or the consequences are there is a gravity of that consequences, means it is considered as a gross negligence, and the result which is the injury which is caused is having a serious nature. And third, damage or injury to the patient, means the injury or damage which is caused to patient is the result of the breach of duty to take care by the patient which is imposed under the law or the profession on the doctor to take care. If of all these there is a connection between all these three essential, then the doctor will be held liable as per the case to case. And the law for the negligence, medical negligence, is developed. Uh, in the decade of 50s, there was some other propositions to held liable doctor, and in the decade of 60s or 70s or 80s, 1920s, so there are parameter or the test, different tests. So there is a series of case law that we will discuss under this thing. The civil suit under tortious liability for damage, that is known as a civil remedy for civil liability for medical negligence. When a person claim remedy under law of torts, it will be considered as a civil liability. Civil remedy and tortious liability is considered as a civil liability. So, meaning thereby a civil suit shall be filed under in a civil court to get the damages, which you can understand as a compensation. In some cases, exemplary damages may also be provided, and it is provided in some case law that we will discuss. Onus, the proof of the burden of the proof will be on the plaintiff to prove that doctor was negligent and he was having the duty and there was a breach of duty on the part of damage. And here the patient has to prove there was a relationship between the doctor and patient, there was a relationship between the patient and the hospital. If the relationship is established and it is proved, the further evidence has to prove that doctor was having a duty, what doctor was negligent to take care, and due to that the injury is caused. Evidence necessary to prove the case of medical negligence, it is very much required. If there is no evidence, in that case the patient will be failed to get the remedy. There are some case laws where the suit has been filed against the doctor to get remedy, and court held the doctor liable or hospital liable under doctrine of res ipsa loquitur. Here there is no need to prove the evidence. Case itself will show that doctor or hospital was negligent to take care. Now I will discuss some case law, that is Bolam versus I will take this is the first one as a Bolam case, known as a Bolam test or Bolam case. Bolam versus Friend Hospital Management Committee. In this case, judiciary held, means House of Lord held that a doctor who acts in accordance with a practice which is accepted in medical profession as proper by a reasonable body of medical man is not negligent merely because there is a body of opinion that takes a contrary views. I just repeat, the House of Lords held that a doctor who acts in accordance with the practice accepted in medical profession as a proper by a reasonable body of medical man is not negligent merely because there is a body of opinion, means there is a different opinions, and that is the contrary opinion. Here in this case, Justice McNair observed that the test is the standard of ordinary skilled man exercising and professing of to have that special skill. A man need not possesses the highest expert skill. It is well established law that it is sufficient if he exercise the ordinary skill of a ordinary competent prudent man exercising that particular act or art. In the case of a medical man, negligence means failure to act in accordance with the standard of reasonable competent medical man at that time. There may be one or more perfectly proper standard, and if he conforms with one of these proper standard, then he is not negligent. The test, this test means this test of a standard ordinary skilled man test covers entire the field of liability of a doctor, namely liability in respect of diagnosis, and followed by Supreme Court and High Court in Indian case laws as well. The next test case law I will take up as this is the Dr. Lakshman versus Dr. Trimbakam case. This is the case in 1969. In this case, judiciary held that a doctor holds himself as possessors of skill and knowledge which is required for the purpose. When doctor was consulted by patient, he owes certain duties towards patient. The duty to take care in deciding whether he undertakes the case or not. When patient come to doctor, it is the duty of the doctor to decide whether he want to undertake the case or not. And second, the duty of care in deciding what treatment should be given to the patient. And third, a duty of care in the administration of that treatment for the disease which he already uh, diagnosed. A breach of any of these duty will give rise to an action for medical negligence against him. So this is a very important case law to hold doctor liable for medical negligence under law of tort. Further, it is discussed reasonable degree of care and skill as the doctor must bring to his task, means doctor must complete his task with a reasonable degree of reasonable degree of skill, care, and must exercise a reasonable degree of care, neither the very highest nor a very low degree of care, and competence judged in the light of the particular circumstances of each case is what the law requires, meaning thereby the reasonableness means the knowledge and the degree of taking care is required in the case of hernia that will not be similar in the case of bypass surgery. Of course, the duty of care, a reasonable degree of care or skill is required. Highest degree of highest degree is required in the case of by open surgery, means by bypass surgery, but that much highest degree is not required in the case of operation of hernia. But the person will be skilled one, that person must have knowledge to operate the case of hernia. So regarding skill or knowledge, the skill or knowledge of the medical practitioner differs from doctor to doctor. The very nature of the profession is to sure that there may be more than one course of treatment which may be advisable for treating a patient. It depends upon skill of the skill and knowledge of the doctor. And then attitude of the court would maybe differ or slow in attributing on negligence on the part of doctor if he has performed his duty to the best of his ability and knowledge or skill and with due care and action. The court may have different opinion. Here, it is also important to know that medical opinion may differ with regard to course of action to be taken by a doctor treating a patient, but as long as a doctor acts in a manner which is acceptable to the medical profession and the court finds that attended as he has attended the patient with due care and used reasonable skill, diligence, and if the patient still does not survive or suffer a permanent injury or ailment, it would be difficult to hold the doctor liable or guilty for medical negligence. Sometimes it happens. In the case of Dr. phenomena hai Narsinga means P. Narasimha Rao versus Gunda Barappu in 1990 case, and this is the case of 1990. Here the negligence was done by the government hospital. Here a very promising young boy of 17-year-old was admitted in a government hospital for removal of tonsils. As a result of the negligence in the administration of anesthesia, during the operation the patient became victim of cerebral anoxia. It makes him dependent for whole life on his on his parents. The anesthetist, the surgeon, and the government hospital were all held liable for the damage to the plaintiff. The next case I have taken with respect to application of maxim uh, uh, res ipsa loquitur in the Aparna Datta versus Apollo Hospital. What happened in this case? The plaintiff got herself operated in the Apollo Hospital for removal of uterus, as a cyst was found there, and it was developed near one of her ovaries. The surgeon who performed the operation left abdominal pack in her abdominal. It caused a lot of pain, suffering, and uneasiness to the plaintiff, and the foreign part was subsequently removed by another surgical operation in the same hospital. It was held to be a case of res ipsa loquitur. The surgeon concerned and the hospital authorities were held to be liable for negligence and were ordered to pay the damages to the patient. And there are a number of cases when the doctor left the foreign parts in the body of the patients during the operation, and the patient got injury and got a lot of pain over there. So this is the one kind of case. And in the case of state of Haryana versus Santara, here there is a under the government scheme, the sterilization operation were done, and there is a negligence on the part of that team. So here the concerned doctor and the state was held liable vicariously to pay for the maintenance of the child till attaining the age of puberty for unsuccessful sterilization operation resulting in the birth of that unwanted child due to the negligent operation in a government hospital under the state sponsored family planning program. The statutory liability of the parents to maintain a child under the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act and the Mohammedan law is nowhere in claiming damages on account of tort of medical negligence. The conduct of an operation on the part of doctors, after this a certificate was given, and it assured that the lady will not conceive, but it was failure. As a result, the evidence is there. The evidence for the failure of the operation is that she gives a birth to the child, and it attracted the maxim of res ipsa loquitur. In this case, for medical negligence, the Supreme Court directed state government and hospital authority to pay rupees 50,000 to the child with interest to be drawn only for his food, clothes, and education till he attains majority. In the case of Srimati Bholi Devi versus State of Jammu and Kashmir in 2002, here in this case is in a case where the remedy is given for the tort of medical negligence under constitutional law, Article 226. Here the doctor has to give the injection which has to supposed to give in, which is meant for intramuscular use, was administered as an injection intravenous in a government hospital. The injection which is supposed to give in intramuscular that is made for intramuscular use, but it was administered in the intravenous, and it is done by the doctor of the government hospital. It caused the death to the patient. Here the government hospital was held liable under public law, or we can say the government was held liable under public law for damage under Article 226 of the Constitution of India. You see, the name of the case is Shrimati Bholidi versus State of Jammu and Kashmir. So here the state government of Jammu and Kashmir was held liable in this case. In R.P. Sharma versus State of Rajasthan, here in the case, the death of the patient was caused due to the transfusion of the wrong group of blood. The state was held vicariously liable to compensate victim and then entitled to recover from those negligent persons of the hospital. Uh, Here the relationship of the master servant was applied to held liable in this case. In the case of Samira Kohli versus Dr. Prabha Manchanda, it is a very important case. Here the patient was admitted or consulted the doctor for diagnose for the problem which was she was facing regarding menstrual period, and she was advised to get diagnosed through laparoscopy, and she has given the consent only for laparoscopy test. But during that surgery, doctor got removed her uterus, ovaries, and fallopian tubes without her consent. Although when she was under the anesthesia, the consent of her mother was taken here, and which she was the patient was major one. She was year of 44 year of lady. So here in this case, this case was filed in the consumer court under the consumer law initially, and National Commission did not hold liable the doctors, as she has taken due care and it is the accepted practice. But in appeal in the case of Supreme Court held that held liable doctor for negligence for not taking consent by the patient, as this is not the case of emergency, and doctor should respect the integrity of the patient when the patient is major one. So here the doctor was held liable in this case. As in the case of Nizam Institute of Medical Services and Medical Sciences versus Parasnath Asdhenka, this is also a very case law. As in the case of Samira Kohli and in this Nizam case, several guidelines were laid down by the Supreme Court to follow by the doctors or hospitals as well. And the concept of informed consent is very well recognized. The consent of the patient should be respected. Doctors should not act as a parent. They should avoid this attitude. So in the case of Nizam Institute of Medical Science and Parasnath, here the patient was an engineer student. He suffered from recurring fever. He admitted he approached this medical institute. The X-ray was done, and during the examination of X-ray, it was revealed a tumor in the left side of chest with erosion of ribs and vertebra. Even then, without having MRI done, MRI was done without having MRI. The surgeon accessed the tumor and found vertebral body eroded. Here the tumor was removed. The operation resulted in acute paraplegia of the patient, means paralysis of the legs and lower body. Here, I just repeat, here the patient was suffering with the fever. He approached to doctors, X-ray was done, and in the X-ray it is found some tumor is there. MRI was not done in this case, but the surgeon, what they did, they removed the tumor, and it was found the body barbital eroded during after the surgery, and finally it resulted into the paralysis of the legs and lower body of the patient. So the MRI at the pre-stages, at the pre-operation stage would have, if MRI was done, it could have been done. Then it says that MRI at the pre-operation stage would have shown necessity of a neurosurgeon at the time of operation, and the paraplegia perhaps avoided. Consent was taken only for excision body, not for removal of tumor. Excision body means removal of some tissues using a sharp knife. Consent was not given for the removal of the tumor. The hospital and the surgeon were held liable for negligence. Supreme Court awarded, presupposing his working life up to 60 years, a sum of rupee 2000 per month for 30 years, which was capitalized to a sum of rupees 7.2 lakh. Further awarded a sum of rupees 14 lakh 40,000 to expenses for a nurse. Awarded rupees 10 lakh to cover expenses on physiotherapy for 30 years. Awarded rupees 50 lakh for medical expenses and loss of earning, and rupees 10 lakh towards pain and suffering. Total amount of compensation was in this case rupees 1 crore with 6% interest till the date of payment made. So here it is considered that the patient was then 40 years when the case reached to Supreme Court, was gainfully employed as a IT engineer. The nature of his work means that student who was engineer student was required him to travel to different location for the work, but he was confined to a wheelchair due to the paralysis of his leg or lower body which was caused due to the negligence of the doctor. So here these are the cases which I have discussed, that the civil suit is filed in civil court under the tort of medical negligence, that is to held the tortious liability for medical negligence by doctor or hospital. The principle of vicarious liability, master servant relations were applied. Doctrine of res ipsa loquitur is also applied. But for test is also applied to fix liability for but for test is also applied to fix the liability for medical negligence. As I've already told, vicarious principle was applied here. Liquidator is applied here. In normal case, in normal tort, there is a liability on the plaintiff to prove the medical negligence on the part of doctor by putting evidence, supporting documents, But if the res ipsa liquidator doctrine is applied, there is no need to prove it by the plaintiff, because it is a clear cut of medical negligence on the part of doctor. So this is all about the remedy for medical negligence under law of tort, which is a compensation or damages, simple damages, nominal damages, and the exemplary damages is also provided here. The next topic to be discussed is remedies for medical negligence under criminal law. Thank you for watching me. This is Dr. Pallavi Gupta.